Hello and welcome, friends, to episode 4 of Tavern Talk. I am Ben, also known as Meta Mongoose, over on the Crit Cats Discord, and with me tonight is my, at this point, ride or die co-host Sasha, um, who who will also be talking about her dice goblinry addiction here this evening with me.
Yeah, it is definitely an addiction.
But we figured that talking about some dice goblinry, collection of dice, dice that have meaning to us, all that fun stuff, would be a good topic for this evening. And we have a lot of very pretty dice to share with you this evening. We also submitted, or at least solicited, some of our Discord folk for any particular dice that they had, and anything that had like special meaning to them, and we got some pretty nice dice in. So we'll show off some of those as well. But yeah, so dice, they are just as much a part of the D&D game as your character sheet. Some people like to pair dice sets with their specific characters, which it's a little much for me, but some people do
I've
that.
done that.
Yeah,
I've
you've
done
done that. Um, but no, I've definitely seen more than my share of players at my tables who go out and buy like whole dice sets specifically for the characters that they are playing,
hmm
and it adds a little bit, I think, to the table when you can kind of help immerse yourself in the game by getting a dice set that kind of speaks to you.
Right. That's what I've done before, like absolutely. I have looked at some dice and I'm just like, I have to have these. They're like, but why? I'm like, because I have to.
Well, that's
Like
the other
this will
thing.
go.
Like, you don't once you have a dice set or two, you don't really need more dice. Like, the game does not really require that many dice to play.
Especially not
Um,
5th edition.
Especially, well, I mean, yeah, especially not fifth edition. I mean, other than getting a good handful of like d6s to cast, your fireballs or lightning bolts or something along those
hmm
lines, most attacks can be resolved in a small handful of dice. Even on a crit, you can just roll, those again. But that's not what we're here about today. Today, though, we're very interested in going through the dice hoard, because
Yeah.
you buy a dice set, and maybe later you see a prettier dice set, so you buy that one, and maybe later you have a cool dice set idea for a character, so you buy a couple of dice sets for that,
hmm
and then you turn around and there's a crock of dice, or a giant toad of dice, or as I was going through our dice collection to take pictures of dice for this, an entire like dining room table of dice.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. That I'm
um,
getting close to that
and
in
I'm gonna
dice.
be honest, I can more blame my wife for that than me. I'm a much more conservative dice goblin. I collect a very small subset of dice, but
I am
um,
such a dice goblin. It's
but yeah, and you even make your own.
Yeah, I do.
And we'll see some of those when we get to yours. I think they look really
hmm
neat. You do a pretty good job with it.
I try, but
Um,
it's a work in progress. I get a little bit of that perfectionist feel, so it's like I want to make sure that I'm doing it all right.
but yeah. So with that aside, just a comprehensive idea of dice collection, I guess. We'll we'll cycle through some of our dice, and if there's any cool stories about them as we go, we'll tell them and see how far we get in our
hmm
dice system here. So first up, my original dice set. This is the bag has changed over the years. It was, I think, originally a your standard black felt bag, no markings or anything along those lines. But this is the first sets that I have owned. They were purchased for me by my parents back when I was like 10. We were
Oh,
in
I love
a
them.
local game shop, and I had just gotten into playing D&D. I come from a Magic the Gathering background before D&D,
Mhm.
but the game shop had D&D players as well, and I got into the game. I saw that a lot of them had a very eclectic dice collection, so it was any and all various kinds of shapes and colors all in one bag, and I wanted my dice to kind of stick out, one so that they didn't get mixed up in other people's dice, but also so that I knew specifically which ones were mine. It's like mine are the yellow ones with the black print and the black ones with the white print, and they had a nice like color contrast to them. It kind of almost like a bumblebee kind of feel.
Yeah, it is. I've actually made
Um,
dice that are mixtured of that color of black and yellow.
and but again, this is a very old set. I have lost a couple over the years as dice sometimes roll off a table and into like a vent, or get
I
lost
have
in somebody's carpet.
I've been through that before more than once.
So I did lose the black D4 and the yellow like double zero 10 sider. I do not. I somewhere along the lines they were lost to time and space, and I am sad that the sets are no longer fully complete. But there are arguably enough of the right kinds of dice that it can still be used if
Yeah.
I ever decide to break them out again. But they were well loved. I think I gave them a good at least almost 10 year, good decade worth of play.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until like my 20s that I switched into what is my current dice set. And those have been chugging along as well. So we'll show off those next. Saja, you're familiar with this dice set as you sit next to it every Wednesday.
Yes.
So this is my current dice set. They are a clear, kind of icy blue. They've
They're
got like
pretty. I
little
like
silver
them.
streaks running through them. Um, they're very very nice. I liked them when I saw the set originally and was like, well, I'm going to just make a fully kind of like one base color set, and that was the one I decided to go with. So I bought like 4 sets of that dice,
Yeah.
um, so that I would
It's
have.
still really cool though. They're really pretty color,
They
like that
are.
blue and that white.
They shimmer kind of nicely in the light. And then I bought, because I didn't have. I've got the regular D6s stored away somewhere, but I needed way more D6s. So I bought a different like D6 only set that had kind of a similar theme to it, but they're more of a solid color with like a snowy kind of over like sprinkle in them.
Yeah.
Um, now you may notice there are all also some strange specialty dice here. The D20s in the top left hand corner are all from the dungeon encounters program that Wizards of the Coast did during like the 5th Ed era, when they were doing their both their D&D encounter kind of program, where you could show up and play like the new hot game, that
Yeah, I
whatever
think I
adventure
missed
book.
out on that.
And also some of them are from the the D&D minis line, whenever they came out with like a new D&D mini set, because it was during when they had like the little it was an actual miniatures game in addition to being collectible miniatures for your D&D game, but it was an actual miniatures like war game. And so the pre-releases of those had actual like set symbol stamped dice.
Mhm.
and some of those are from that as well. And since most of them are on color for my dice set, they all ended up in my dice bag, and I tend to use those predominantly for my D20 rolls instead of like the normal D20s. They come with the set. The thing I like most about the black and blue one is that they accidentally printed the 18 upside down on the dice. So,
Really?
so all the numbers, if you look at the way the triangles are pointed, all of the numbers point to the top of the triangle. The 18 is upside down. So when I roll it
That is
and kind
so
of like set
cool.
it to where it's so that the triangle points up, it says that you rolled an 81, and that entertains me every time.
You need you need to point that out
Oh,
to
oh, I
me
do. I do. I'll show you on tomorrow
tomorrow.
when we're at the game. But yeah, no, that was a thing that occasionally when I'm playing with some of the DMs that are friends of ours and know better, I just kind of roll like they're like, "What'd you get?" I'm like, "I got an 81," and they're like, "No, you didn't." I'm like, "It's actually an 18." I've got an 81 on my
I
D20.
got an 81. Look, it says 81
Yeah,
right here
all the
on the
numbers
die.
point to the top, and this one says 81.
And the DM just
Yeah, it's like I can't help it that it's an official Wizards of the Coast printed dice that's upside down. It's official. It's an official 81.
yes.
But also, there are some D6s that are out of place here, and they have an interesting story to them, or at least two of them do. Those for those who do not recognize them, though some of you watching will recognize them. These are Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur board game dice from the 1990s version of Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur,
I don't
uh,
even know if I've
which
played that
is
before.
a board game that it kind of has like a shoots and ladders kind of board system. So you roll like a D12 or both D6s and like move your token around the map, but it has a wind up dinosaur figure. And if you roll the dinosaur on the dice, you have to wind it up, set it on the middle of the map, and it spins around and then just runs at something. And if it knocks
It's
your
amazing.
character over, you get knocked back to other parts of the map, and
The
maybe it
90s
sets
was
you
wild.
back.
The 90s was wild with those kind of board games,
Right,
especially with like Mousetrap too. That
right,
was a
similar. It came out similar. So these it came with two of Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur dice, and me and my brother, like that board game did not survive at our house.
I wouldn't
We were
think it would.
young, like we were under 10 at the time, like that board game did not survive the two of
Yeah.
us more than
My
like
brother and I
6
with
months or a
Mousetrap.
year. But the dice survived, and so me and my brother each had one of the d6 for our D&D dice sets. And I have recently come into possession of both of them, mostly because his D&D dice ended up at my house while he was uh, doing some like overseas work, and I was like, well, now I get both of them.
Like
uh,
they're both mine now.
yep, they're I like them so much that they are both mine. But you may notice there are three of them there. And that is because at one point I was at a convention that was just like selling random like board game cast off dice in like jars.
Mhm.
And I saw another one and I was like, "Oh my god, I need it for my dizzy for my now notice
You need
I
you need to find more of
well, here's the
them.
problem. They updated the art of the dinosaur in like the 2000s.
Really?
And also again in like the 2010s.
That's
So
fantastic.
I need to find specifically the 1990s version of the Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur dice to complete more of my collection. And one day I would like to get like a full set of like 8 of them. Just because I like that the dinosaur kind of looks like a friendly dragon.
Yeah, it looks adorable.
And I like having them. So I that is a ongoing collection goal of mine whenever I'm at a convention and there's guys selling piles of dice from various like old sets and things, and I just kind of look around and go, do you have one of the specific Dizzy Dinosaur dice I need?
You're like, I have to have this. I need more of them.
I have dug through like dice bins before just hoping.
That is
And I
fair.
have found a few Dizzy Dinosaur dice, but just the wrong era, so I had to toss them back.
Oh, you're
Um,
like, it's not the same.
and the poker chip that is there in the set is part of weirdly enough a Deadlands role playing game that I was in a long time ago. Uh, there are different chips that you use for character perks. So it uses you can play poker effectively as part of the game's like rule set. And chips are used for influencing dice rolls and stuff like that. But there are different levels of chips. So like your lowest is your white chip, then your red, then your blues. But then there's like a black chip, which is like a legendary chip. And the DM at the time had specialized like thick plastic with metal core, like fancy poker chips that he used for the legend chips. And my character got a hand on one of them, and it ended up in my dice bag. And then eventually, like the game stopped happening, and it was still in my dice bag. So now it is. Now it's mine for whenever I
I
need
was
a
gonna
coin.
say,
Whenever I
looks
need a
like it's
coin flip.
yours now. Looks like it's yours now.
Right. In true goblin fashion, it was in my possession, and now it's mine. Um,
It's true though. It's true.
but no, so
It's true.
so this is my current dice set. Again, I like it a lot. It has treated me very well over the years. But there is another set of dice waiting in the wings. This is my future dice set someday.
Someday.
The dice set of the future. Um, I saw these dice and I really liked both the like ivory and gold marbling as well as like the onyx and gold marbling, and they really spoke to me. So I bought like two sets of each so I could have a full D&D dice set system.
Hmm.
Uh, but the biggest issue is I bought these like a few years ago, and I still like my original dice set too much. So I'm having a hard time letting go of that one. But when I eventually decide it's time to move on to a different set, this set and its adorable koi fish dice bag
I do like
um,
the bag. I think it's
is
cute and
is
derpy at the same time.
100% a a dice set that I will be using going forward for all of my D&D needs. It just has a very bespoke kind of like opulent look to it that I really like.
Hmm. I like the swirled colors in it.
Hmm.
Is that gold?
Yeah, it's
Because
gold.
it's a very nice gold.
It's like an ivory or like marble with a gold kind of
Yeah, I
swirl,
love it.
and then like an onyx with like a similar gold swirl.
Yeah, I do like it.
They looked very pretty, and it was very hard to not buy them. But it is also
I
currently
understand
very
that
hard
pain.
to
You know,
put my current dice away. So
I forgot to take a picture of my mushroom dice. I forgot about those
oh
ones. I forgot about those ones. Mostly because I still can't find the D4.
oh, did you lose one? Did you?
I lost it and I can't find it. I've searched all over my apartment. I have searched all over the shop. I just cannot find the poor thing.
Hmm.
So
It
I'm
belongs. It
sure
belongs to the dice goblins now.
the one that isn't me.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's covers some of my D&D, my past, present, and potential future D&D dice piles. In other game systems, I have a Star Wars set that, or well,
Oh
this isn't
shoot.
specifically Star Wars. This is a set of D6 that I bought for my D6 Star Wars game. They are
Those
they are
are amazing.
Constellation Shooting Star D6.
Holy crap, those are amazing.
You count all the pips and the shooting star on every side. The biggest issue is because they are not easily laid out, they are sometimes hard to count. Um,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
the shooting star does travel across like two or three faces of the dice in general, which is kind of nice. You get like a little streak line on one side and then the shooting star on the other. And there are, I believe, 12 plus a galactic sparkly one for the 13th specialty dice.
Yeah, I see that one.
Um, I was very happy. I believe this was a Kickstarter of some kind that I found after it had funded and shipped. And I like emailed the guys and was like, for the love of all that is right and just in the world, please take my money and send me some dice. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem, can do that. We love money. Um, and they even sent me a sparkly dice, which they didn't have to do, but they did,
That's
and
fantastic.
I'm pretty happy with them. They served me very well in my D&D, or not my D&D, my Star Wars dice rolling needs. Though arguably, I guess I could use them if I ever was in D&D and played like a meteor storm spell. Needed some
Yeah, that would be
needed some
fun.
special D6s. Just roll out with these.
Yeah, the Star Wars set that I have that I also didn't take a picture of was the Fantasy Flight set that came out for the Fantasy Flight version of
Okay, like
Star
the
Wars.
specialty dice with like the special symbols on
Yeah,
each side.
yeah. The ones that's like it's D12s and D8s and I want to say
I think
D6s.
D6s. Yeah.
Yeah. D12s, D8s, D6s. They were really cool. I actually really have played in a couple of games that have that and they're pretty awesome. I like them.
They look neat. I am mildly leery about games with specialty dice. One, because I know that someday I'm going to lose some of them, and then I'm gonna have to figure out like a key to tell me what normal dice are represented on this, and they have that. Like I know Fantasy Flight put out like a little, like, if you don't have to purchase our fancy dice.
Yeah, they have
You
a
can just
chart.
follow this card table, and it'll tell you what the normal dice do.
Yeah, they have a
Um,
like a translating
yeah,
chart.
but yeah, no, I am a little leery about games that have their own special dice.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Their rules are also a bit different than what I would prefer, but a lot of the times there's just it depends on the DM because sometimes DMs just like let stuff slide and just kind of do it the way they want to do it, and then you have DMs who are like, no, this is exactly what the book says. This is exactly the rules. You cannot change it. You will not change it. I will kick you out of my game. Okay. Oh, all right. Cool. Dog. Jeez.
Yeah, that
So yeah,
happens.
that's yeah. There's like it depends on your DM because I have a lot of the DMs I've worked with are just like, nah, it's fine. We're just gonna work it this way because I like it better, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's fine. Like so, yeah, and so then it comes to the way the dice work and kind of
Hmm.
just or the way the dice work because they have like crits in there and which are called like triumphs, and then obviously the ones that are like critical failures. But yeah, no, the dice are really cool, but they are very specific, and it's kind of like you would have to be playing it consistently to really want to actually like keep the dice.
Right.
It's kind of similar to like vampire sets.
Yeah, but
Because
vampire
if
sets are
you're not,
D10s, and I've
they're
actually got
D10s.
some over here.
I
So
I actually have some too, but that's not my point. The point is like, if you're not playing it consistently, then there's no point in like buying a vampire dice set because you could just use 10d10.
right, that's I mean it is
So
a lot of
and
D10s.
and like the vampire in particular have like a particular symbol on the 10 for the 10d10s.
uh,
So
yeah, each of the White Wolf properties have their like property symbol stamped on the D10 on the 10 spot or the 1 spot. I think it's the 10 spot.
I
Either
think
way.
it's the 10 spot. I'm pretty sure it's 10 if I remember right. Because I've
Um,
actually made a
Now
custom
the newest
set.
version of Vampire has again specialty D10s because they stamped the D10s with different symbols, kind of like how Star Wars did. I don't particularly care for that, but it is a version of the White Wolf game that's going around.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, in other dice, here's some fancy D4s. I know they look like D12s, but they're not.
Those are
Um,
my favorite.
these
I love those
I love these.
D4s.
They roll so well. They always return a 1 or a 1 to 4, so you can use them in place of D4s. You don't have to worry about accidentally stepping on them and like killing yourself as much. I mean, as much as a dice can hurt your. They're not as bad as like a Lego, but then
You
again,
will
those D4s
actually.
are dangerous.
Yeah,
Those
there's actually
pyramids. Yeah.
there's one that I sent a picture of. They're very sharp edge, and the D4 is very sharp. So like you do not want to have that thing. That
Yeah,
thing
they're
will
they're
pierce
they're like
through your foot.
caltrops. They're dangerous. So
Yeah.
I like
The
these.
sharp edged one will pierce through
I
your foot,
definitely
hands
like
down.
these D12 D4s better.
Oh, I love them.
They're very nice, and I now that I've refound my pile of them, I slipped them into my dice bag so I can use them at the game on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I use them all the time. I love those D4s. They're just so much better. They don't always roll better for me, but I just like using them.
uh,
Penguins.
yes, this is a dice set that my wife bought for me because I like
They're
penguins.
so they're so cute.
There are penguins inside of every dice, little penguin figures just floating around inside. They are adorable. I love them. I don't 100% know if I will ever actually use them, but that is a problem with dice hoarding.
Mhm.
Is you have a ton of dice and you just keep them because they look cool. You don't actually end up using them. But
Yeah.
I do like these particular ones. They're adorable.
Oh yeah, they are cute.
And then of course my White Wolf set. Um, this is my D10 pile. It's three
I
different D10s, so 30 D10s total, I
I
believe.
do have an entire box full of just D10s because I did do for a while we had a aberrant game which is a D10 system and a point system. So for a long time I have a giant like Pokemon trainer kit box full of D10s. Like it's all D10s
hmm
because we used it so much.
but
And you
yeah,
have to use so many D10s depending on what you're
but yeah, no. So yeah, I always have enough D10s to supply a decent amount of players at a White Wolf game in my adorable dice bag that hungers.
doing. I love that bag. Oh,
Um,
I should have shown my mimic bag. It
uh,
holds
it
all my
is a
tiny
uh,
dice.
it is a pencil case uh, from I don't know the mid 2000s that I
They're
picked up.
still around.
Oh yeah, I know. I picked it up on like a back to school sale, and was like, guess what? You're a dice bag now,
Yeah. Most of the time when I look at pencil cases, I'm like, huh, how many dice will this hold?
right?
And if it doesn't hold enough, then I don't buy it.
But anyway, that shows off all of my particular main hoard.
Oh, I have so
Um,
many.
I have many more, but these were the ones that were worth showing off for me. My wife, on the other hand, put up a pile of her pretties to share. This is her set that she got from Dice Envy. It is gorgeous.
Oh yes, it's pretty. It's even got a D3.
Yeah. For those times when you don't want to just roll a six-sided dice and divide by
And a
two.
and a chunky boy
Uh huh.
D20.
Yeah, that is a hefty D20. But I do like the colors that went with this one. The design is really nice, and this is a set that she tends to use whenever we are playing a game of D&D. This is kind of like her player set, as it were. Now, I warn you, this next set of dice, these are very painful for me personally. But she loves them. These are dice that are not shaped like dice.
Oh yeah, those ones.
I
Yeah, you
I
hate those
hate
ones.
these with a
I
passion.
love them.
So
I
so
love
does
them
my
for the
wife. She
style.
loves every bit of them.
I love the style and the like the kind of character-esque themes that I've seen multiple sets.
Hmm.
There's some that are rogue sets,
Yeah,
which are all
I've
like
got a friend who's got the
dagger-looking
rogue
ones.
set, and
Yeah.
I think he's got the rogue set. I'm pretty sure this is the wizard set, and I think he's also got like the cleric set as well. But yeah, no, she breaks these out on occasion to taunt me. Um,
That's fantastic.
Spins her little top hat or witch hat D20.
The witch hat is cute though.
Um, but no, it's a cute set. Not gonna lie. I just as dice, I do not subscribe to this idea. I do not. This is a this is a mode of thinking I do not agree with. But she also has some fancy tiny dice that she got from Elderwood Academy. A dice and fancy dice
Elderwood Academy is a place I've
container.
wanted to get dice from
Oh
too.
yes, Dice Envy and Elderwood Academy. Not technically sponsors, but if you're watching and find out about us, I wouldn't say no, guys. Just
Yeah, I wanted
saying.
it for that whole dice set like holders. I just think is gorgeous, and I would do that for very particular.
So yeah, this is her tiny dice. They have a a little dice book that the thing like snaps into like a little notebook and then slides perfectly into
Yeah,
the little
it's so
bag.
cute.
She really likes these.
They're so cute. I've seen ones that are keychains that they're magnetically sealed, and you just pop them open. You have like dice on the go, and I'm like, oh, that's me.
And then this is her DM dice bag. It is a dice bag that holds multiple sets apart from each other.
Yes.
So you can just kind of like it like folds out almost into like a not quite a
Yep.
dice tray because
Ooh,
it's not solid on the bottom. Um, but each little pouch has its own individual
yeah,
dice set.
dice set. Yep.
And so she's got some nice. Well, the D20s in the middle are representative of at least three of those dice sets that are in the bag. I like the purple galactic ones. Those are
Yeah.
pretty cool looking, and then the black and white ones are pretty neat too. I believe those are all from Dice Envy. They have the Dice Envy lion stamped on them. But yeah, these were a bag that she got someone to make for her. That was part of she's in like a craft Discord, and somebody was like, I
Yeah.
make these dice bags, and she's like, I need one now, please.
Right.
Can it be made of this fabric? And the lady was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And therefore now she has this amazing dice bag to keep all of her little dice in line, and she can use them whenever she's going, gaming on the go.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, in speaking of dice holding craftables, this is a dice box that my wife made using a Glowforge.
Oh, that's cool. I love the etching.
Yeah, the etching also from the Glowforge. It needs a little. This was kind of like her proof of concept. So it would arguably be polished and painted a little bit better. The under of the lid would maybe instead of being like that cardboard or not
Yeah.
cardboard but like a particle board that it's made of would be kind of
Yeah.
like painted and polished a little bit or some
Yeah.
kind of undercolor would be added to it
So
and
that
stuff
way
like
it's not
that.
that clear that's just over that
Yeah.
the particle board
But yeah,
because you
this
don't
was
want to see
a
that.
but yeah, no, this was a proof of concept that she did, and it turned out really well.
I
Um,
actually could. I've actually thought about making like dice boxes and stuff like that
well, I
for
know a lady.
dice sets.
So if you wanna go into a collaboration, I know somebody who can do fancy dice boxes for dice sets.
Maybe I still got to get it all up and fully running because I've been all over the place trying to do 6 million things at once. But I'm starting to get everything I need. So
Well, that's good. Speaking of, it is on to your dice. So
which ones? I have
we'll
so many.
peruse. Yeah, I know. So speaking of dice goblinry, everyone, I was like, all right, we're gonna talk about some dice collection. Send me some pictures of dice you have so I can show them up on the screen. And out of nowhere, I get a picture. I get like what 30 some odd pictures of dice or
Yeah,
more, and it was
and I
like
have
these aren't
more.
even all of them. These are just some of the ones I gave you, and I'm just like, oh my Jesus,
I sent
so
you
many
like all of
dice.
my. I gave you all my metal sets, all the metal
I
sets I
believe
have.
they're up first, actually.
I gave you all my metal sets, and then I gave you
Speaking of,
ones that came from my most recent bag that I love them. So I was like, why not just use those? Yeah, that is actually one of my first metal sets,
it
which is
definitely looks
why
like it's seen some wear. I see
it's
the
been
how
loved.
the ionization, the blue ionization,
Yep,
is kind of wearing off of them from
it's been
from
loved.
rolled.
I have
Um,
used it very much. I
so
have
you
used my metal
So
dice
you
a
are
lot.
a metal dice aficionado.
I
This is
love them.
also a thing that I am not particularly fond of.
I roll them only in felted dice trays. I don't like to roll them on the table. I don't like to roll them on paper. I like to roll them straight up in a particular thing because I don't like. There a lot of them like those ones are hefty along with the ones next to them. They're very hefty. They're solid. They're heavy because um yeah, those are some of my first
So I
ones.
don't like things that thud super loudly when they hit a table.
Yeah, that's
So,
why if you use the felt, it cushions it a bit more, so it's not nearly as bad.
um, but uh, but yeah. So these are the fancy blue metal dice that you have, and these are you said some of your older ones.
Yeah, those are my first sets. These aren't even my favorite favorites, but they are some of my first sets.
All right. Well, moving on to
My
the
first
next
metal
ones.
sets.
The ones that were just next to these apparently
Yeah. I
also
just
looked
laid them all out
pretty
and took
pretty well
individual them.
worn. So definitely
Yeah.
getting a lot of use out of these.
Yeah, they've been a lot of love. All of my heavy characters are the ones that use them. So like I have a lot of paladins that tend to use my
Oh, so
metal
your
dice.
armored characters get the metal dice?
Yeah.
Is that how
Yeah.
this system works?
They're the hard hitters. They get to use them, and they're the ones that usually have the most defense or something along those lines, who are usually very heavy or big characters. So I like to use those dice specifically for them. Or if they're just like incredibly tough, and I like to use them for it because I feel like it fits the characters.
Okay.
Instead of for one particular character, it's like a genre of character I like to make. I will use the metal dice for them. The same thing with my tiny dice, which I didn't show in a little mimic bag that has all my tiny dice in it, and I use those for mostly small size characters because I think it's adorable thinking about somebody being a small size character and having these tiny dice, which would fit them better
Okay.
than the regular size
That's
dice. I'm weird.
you are a true dice goblin.
You're not wrong.
Finding uses for all of your collection.
Yeah, it's where I look and I go, oh, that'd be perfect for that kind of character. I'm gonna buy it for that reason.
All right. Now these ones looked neat. I liked
Oh,
the
I love those
the
ones.
kind of like digital print on them,
Yes.
almost like an old alarm clock, like a
Yeah.
digital
That's
clock.
why I loved them. That's why I love them. They're the digital, and that's why I wanted them was for the digital numbers. And I really liked the red and the blue
Oh yeah, that
on the
pops
top of the
really well
metal.
on the gold.
It's more they're more gorgeous in person. I love using them for that reason. They're much lighter than the other two. They're much lighter, and the next sets that are past those two bigger ones are a lot lighter. But again, I still only roll them on the felt. I don't like to roll them anywhere else. I don't like to roll them on tables or nothing. But that's why I like those ones was because of the numbers. I thought the numbers were so cool, and I was like, I have to have these.
Yeah, it's too bad that there isn't a popular D20 um, game that is futuristic. There isn't like a space,
Yeah,
like an actual futury techie space version of D&D. There's Spelljammer, but
not
that's not
really.
really the same.
Not really.
Um,
And there are tabletop games that are based around certain certain sci-fi movies and
but
stuff.
I could picture dice like
But
this if there was like a D20 Lost in Space game.
yeah,
Like
and I would play
they have
those.
that perfect aesthetic for that, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm like hands down those would be like the first dice I think of where it's like, all right, we're gonna do a space game, and just like grab those dice. Mainly because this is the only set I'm using.
Yeah,
I
they have.
actually have a I actually have a D20 that's in one of my miscellaneous dice that is the same type of numbers,
Oh, that's cool.
but it's a resin one, so it's a plastic.
Okay. And then there were these also relatively look kind of well used.
Yeah, because those are one of my favorites.
Okay.
Absolutely. The black and the green is like absolutely gorgeous because green is my favorite color on top of everything. But that black, that like onyx color is just it's really pretty. And sometimes when you're not paying attention, it can be really hard to find those things because that D4 is a pointy D4. So I
Is
have
that the
found it
razor sharp one?
not the razor sharp one. The razor sharp one is actually a resin die, but that thing is still sharp. I have found it the hard way. So, because of the dark color and the bright green doesn't always stand out in the dark. So I
Oh,
found it
you
and was like,
found it with your
"What
foot, did
was
you?
that?" I found it with my foot. I found it the hard way. So yeah.
And then these green ones also kind of stood out. Um,
Oh,
they pop pretty well. I like
those are
that.
my favorite. Those are my favorite. I saw them and I immediately had to have them. Same problem with the D4, extremely sharp, but they're also metal, so it's kind of hard to not make them sharp especially when you have sharp edge dice. But that is my favorite dice set out of all the metal sets. I love that set.
It looks
And
really
that's like
pretty.
my favorite. It's my favorite one. That's why I'm like, oh, I freaking love these ones because it's a green and gold, and that's why I love it. And so like the dice goblin in me is like screaming that I had to have those. So, and I think I have the goblin set in this dice bag. Yeah.
I believe is it?
It is a purple and green
Yep,
set.
this one. Next one.
Yeah. Oh, I love that set too.
Because it's got the goblin
Um
on the D6. Yeah.
yeah, my friend gave that to me because he knows I love playing goblins. So he's like, "Here, I don't use this dice set." So I'm like, "You're giving me a set for free?" And he's like, "Well, you love goblins, so why not play them and why not have the set?" So every goblin I have ever played, I use that set for the goblin.
Nice.
It's just tradition.
They are
Like
very
I have
very
to.
nice dice.
They are. They hate me. They do not roll well for me, but they are some of my favorites. And I tried to showcase some of them, like all of the highest number on them, all have some kind of symbol on them. But I wanted to make sure to show off the goblin face on
Hmm.
the
Oh
D6
yeah,
because
that
that's like my
definitely.
favorite
Yeah.
one. That's like my favorite one.
Let's see, and then we have these fancy looking ones that almost look like made of crystal.
Yes, this is the sharp edge that I was
Yeah,
telling you.
I see that now. Like there's a
That
definite point
D4.
to those.
That D4 I have not found the hard way. I
That one
don't
looks
want
like
to
it'll
find the
draw
hard way.
blood.
That one I think will absolutely pierce the foot. I think you could get that whole thing up your foot, and yeah, I don't want to know that. I don't want to figure it out. But this one actually has a flower
Oh, is that what's inside
in
of it?
it. Yeah, it's a purple flower. I don't know what flower it is, but it is very pretty, and it's very nicely done. It's all very beautiful, shiny, polished. Yeah, I really liked them. So I was like, yeah, I have to have them. Like I just saw them and I was like, oh, there's another one that I've seen before, but they have little frogs in them, and I want the frogs
Oh,
ones, but I just
I think I've
haven't.
seen the frog dice. Those are cute.
Yeah, they're so adorable. I love frogs too, so I was just like, oh, I want the frogs, but I can't get them right now. Price of wanting to be a dice goblin, but
Well, dice are expensive, I
bills,
guess.
bills come first.
Then we got these green ones.
Yeah, that is a whole set that I bought. It comes with the 4d6 and the what is it 2d8. I think it comes with
That comes with a
3d4.
nice collection of dice, I think.
Yeah, that is a whole set like that. I have used it because it's got that other stuff with it. I figured it's really good for rogues,
Yeah, whenever you need like
and
the couple extra for sneak attack or whatever.
I've used it for paladin, not for the smite, but because of the other like bonus action smites, it comes with d6 damage rather than d8s. So I've used it for that, and then obviously the extra d20s is just good to have.
Let's see, and then we've got these fancy glittery ones that I kind of liked.
Oh yeah, I love those ones too. I think one of those ones just came with the set because they were in these tubes and they always add an additional 20. So the one that goes with the set is on the bottom left.
And the
One
D20 on the top right is
came
the.
with the set.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they have an additional d20 with it that don't always match, which is why I showed you the three gold ones because they
Oh,
came with other
yeah, they're. I
sets.
think they're on here.
I had three of them, so I was like, oh, I'll just put them together. But yeah, I love that one. I don't remember the name of it, but it's very.
It has
It's
a
got
very
purple.
like nebula looking.
Yes, actually, I should probably use this set for my Wednesday character because those are very similar to her colors.
Oh yeah, for your
Um,
for your sorceress,
yeah,
or in our
yeah.
spelljammer
If
game.
if
Yeah.
she if she makes it, I don't know if she's going to
Oh,
survive.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
I don't know if she's gonna survive.
She'll be
I have a
fine.
backup character just in case.
It's true. We did just do that in an episode.
I, I tell the DM, I'm like, it's fine if she dies. Here's the extra character sheet, and just like casually slide it to him. Um, but yeah, I probably would. It does kind of fit her aesthetic because of how she's a fire genasi,
Hmm.
but she also has this. She's got very kind of similar hair coloring with the red and the purple. That's kind of similar to her hair color. And some of the pink in there, I think, is close to what her eye color is. But it kind of just it fits her aesthetic as what she looks like. And even the other D20 kind of matches it because it adds like a blue into it, which just makes it look like it comes with the set when it doesn't.
Yeah, it looks really
It's just
nice.
a separate one. It's just a separate one that they put in there, but it's still gorgeous. I still love it.
Yeah, it just has a slightly different like sheen to it than the others do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's see. Then we have, speaking of sparkly ones, you've got
Oh
this
yeah, I have a lot
set.
of
So
sparkly.
you got a lot of shimmer kind of in this one
That
too.
one's so pretty. I loved it because of the pink and the green. And just it's very swirly. Like this is the kind of stuff that I want to make. It's very pretty and it's the pastels get to me. So the pastel colors are just gorgeous and that's why I bought it. That's why I wanted it. I was like I have to have these. Why not? Because the pastels, they're gorgeous. I love pastel colors
They're really pretty. Let's see.
that you don't even really get to see very often. It's really rare to see pastel colors. Like there's
Yeah.
another pastel set. I don't remember what that one's called, but that
This
comes
one's
from a
got like a little
particular.
alchemy thing on
Mhm.
the D6.
That's actually the brand of the dice.
Oh,
I do
okay.
not remember the name, but that is the brand. It's like laboratory dice or something like that. It's really cool, and they come in like these little test tube
Oh, they come in like
looking.
test tubes.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's actually really cool, and the D6 comes with it. So yeah, that's the extra die that it comes with. Is the D6, and it's still really cool. Again, a lot of these dice don't roll well for me, but that's okay. I still like them. I've had people that are like, "What do you do with dice that make you angry?" And I'm like, "I threaten to melt them, and they still don't work."
Dice jail.
Yes, I wanna have a dice jail. There's also ones that are like they're not dice jails, but they're dice chairs, and
Oh
like
yeah.
they have a little dunce cap that
Mm-hmm.
you put on the die, and I'm like,
Adorable.
I need this. There's one that's like a whole room that somebody made that has the little chairs, and it's like this room that they sit in. There's another one that's like a chair, and it's got the therapist chair.
Oh yeah.
So you put the tie in the therapist chair.
Nice.
I was like, that's perfect. That's stuff that I need.
Let's see what else we got. There's a rainbowy color one that looked kind of neat.
I have a lot of colorful ones.
You do. You are definitely a lot of color going on over in this collection.
Yeah, I have usually a vomit of color. It's usually what I have because I love that kind of multicolored thing because again, you don't really see those very often. So a lot of the times I love having the multicolors.
This
But
this set does kind of look like a unicorn got sick.
yeah, it does look like that. Absolutely. Looks like a unicorn definitely got sick on like some kind of ride and then just couldn't deal with the stress.
These would
Yes.
have been fun when we did the Wild Beyond Witchlight campaign.
Yes, there's so many of them that I have that are so bright and colorful. That includes some of my tiny dice too that are just so bright and colorful. I love them. But yeah, I've kind of separated them. These are all some of my newer sets too because I have so many. Even when I like pour out my other dice sets, like my tiny dice set, I actually have to pick out the one sets that I want to use and I put everything else back. So, yeah, I have a lot of dice. I had to look through like 5 bags of dice, figure out which ones I wanted to take pictures of. So I just picked one that has full sets in them and just do that too. And I have some older ones, they're just not there.
Yeah.
I have so many
Let's see. We
dice
got these
sets.
ones look kind of neat. The lettering on these is what kind of
Yes, that's
caught
why
my
I
eye.
wanted them. That's why I wanted them. It's a green and purple set that I love with the gold, but I love the lettering, and I think I have the next one is like a red set. That one is
Let's
really
see. This
cool.
one?
I think so. Well, it pops. There it is. Yeah, it looks orange on camera,
Yeah, it
but
does. It
it,
does
it
look a
is
little orange on
red.
camera, but
It is, but it's red. It
oh,
is full
okay.
on red. Same lettering, same style of dice. With the curvatures and like the shape of the dice themselves, still really good. Very smooth. They roll really well. They just don't roll well for me.
Maybe it's just you. Maybe it's not them.
I think it is just
I'm gonna
me.
send you to like dice rolling camp.
Yeah, I think it would be just me. I think it's just a point.
Let's see. Let's see. Are these aren't the mushroom dice, right? They look like they
No,
have
they're
something in them.
not. These ones are very plain, but at the same time, very different because they have purple and yellow dye just mixed in them.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's kind of like they added a drop of purple, a drop of yellow, and kind of did a little meh, and then decided to cast it from there. I liked them because of that kind of. It's so basic, but at the same time, it has that little uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
Because it like a lot of the times when I buy a lot of dice, it's because I have ideas.
Let's see. Here's your those gold ones. So you said so basically when you buy sets you get a spare D20 and you've bought enough sets from these people that you managed to get 3 of the same
Um,
D20?
well, each time that you get like a set, they come with that separate die.
Right. What
So,
I'm saying is you bought enough sets that you have 3
yeah,
of the same
that
D20.
match. That's the one thing is that they match. I did not realize until after eventually I was like, huh, how do I have 3 of the same? And I was like, oh, it's because it came with this set and this set and this set. So I was like, huh. Well, all right then. That's interesting enough. So I was like, you know what? I will go ahead and like share those because why not? When I have bought enough of them is when I started collecting random D20s. And I haven't even used all of my dice sets because there's I don't know if you've seen them before, but there's like these little tins that I think our local shop has
The
where
character
they're
tins.
character tins.
So
Yeah.
so yes, I not only have
I
seen
have
them,
two
we
of
own.
those.
I also own two of them. We
Yes.
own the sorcerer tin and the dungeon master tin. I was going to throw
I
them on pictures here, but I was like,
yes, I
I don't know if
almost
I
did.
needed pictures of them because, but yeah, we have both of those.
Yes, I have the paladin tin and the dungeon master's tin. I want to get a couple of them. Like the monk ones are very pretty with the colors, and the rogue is a good one too. The rogue is a red and black theme. Yeah, red and black is the theme for that one. The paladin dice that I have is miscolored. The paladin one that I have is actually the fighter colors, but it's the paladin set.
Oh, so they just like
So
ran them through the wrong.
yeah, I think that's what ended up happening. Like, there's still the paladin set because they have plenty of D8s to spare, but it's the color scheme is different
Oh,
than what
well,
the
that's
paladin set is supposed to
odd.
be. And from what I know, because my friends are like, "Oh, that's the wrong set. That's like the fighter set," and I was like, "But it came from the paladin tin, and it's sealed when I opened it, so
Hmm.
what am I supposed to do?"
It's a mess up
But
at the
no,
factory, I guess.
it's really unique, and that's why I've kept them because I love them. They are a very they're a black and I think they're one of I would like they're like a black and ivory kind of
Oh,
swirl. Some of it's more of the ivory copper color, and some of it's the pure black swirled. And one of the D20s is absolutely what you'd consider like a dungeon master die because you can't barely read the numbers. I did not know about a dungeon master dice until I had people look at me and go, "Well, that's a DM die. You shouldn't be using that as a player." I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" And eventually, I got explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh, oh, okay, I get that." But at the same time, I mean,
I mean, as a dungeon master, I just don't show my players my rolls 99% of the time
I
anyway. So
know I use a
it doesn't
DM
matter what
screen,
dice I
so
use; they're not seeing them anyway.
I use a DM screen, so I let them see that I roll, and then whatever number is whatever the number is.
But yeah, so let's see. When you've got some green sparklies up next.
I think I do. I took so many that I don't
You
remember
did.
now. Yes, that is one of my first sets I completed. These are one of the ones that we're going to the ones that I made.
So now we're in your
Yes, I
in
made
the you
those.
made section.
Yes, I made those.
Well, that's even more impressive. Those look
That is
amazing.
those are one of my first sets that I did. The mold that I got, which I got through Amazon, had commercial free font and all that fun stuff. Comes with 2d8s, and I loved that idea. But this is one of the first sets that I have made. That I made, polished, painted, everything.
Well,
It was
you did such a good job. I didn't realize you had made these.
yes, I made
So
these
good job.
ones. Yeah, those are my first sets. I love them. There's more that come up, and I will tell you which ones that I kept because it was just I could not get rid of them. I
Okay.
loved them too
Well,
much.
next it looks like we have some blue with like glittery flecks in them, or
That
black with glittery
is,
flecks.
it's got a mixture of different glitters in it. It's got some mica powder because one of my friends came over and they chose the colors, they chose the glitter, they mixed it all, and it looks like if you ever remember as a child, the Rainbow Fish book,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where like it's glittery and it has that color scheme on it. It
I
looks
so
like the
from the
Rainbow Fish.
so from the picture, when I saw it, it looked to me like I instantly got a almost almost like a 70s like disco ball feel.
Yeah.
Or like a like your skating rink, disco ball comes down, lights flashing in like weird geometric shapes all
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
uh I got that feel instantly when I saw these, and I
That
I
that
really like them.
yeah, that glitter uh does not sit well in resin. It tends to sink to the bottom, which is a problem with a lot of
Yeah,
resin
I
when it
see
comes to
where in like some
glitters.
areas it looks like it's piled up.
Mhm. Mhm.
um
The for those ones, the person that made the color and everything, I gave them those dice as a birthday gift because they loved them. They loved the colors so much, and I was just like, you know what? I finished them, I polished them, and everything. I was like, here, just take it. Happy birthday! Like, I love you, so take these. Um, they still love them, and I think they use them once in a while. But it's yeah, the this was a lesson in glitter for me because the glitter, the bigger kinds, those big hexagon pieces tend to sink to the bottom. So I know there's a way around it. There's a way to do certain
I assume
things
there's like a
with the
thickening
glitter.
agent you have to kind of put in to
Um,
keep them from sinking, or do you just move it
the
around while it's setting?
the best way that I have seen to do it is to take the amount of glitter you want to do and already mix it in resin and then pour resin in and then pour that mixture in it, and that kind of helps it
Oh,
not
like it
sink
like
as bad.
presets a little bit.
Yeah, but it other than that, it if you just like pour it straight on and like you mix it and then just pour it in, all that glitter will just sink to the bottom.
Hmm.
So a lot of the times glitter like that is fantastic for like big flat pieces or really long thin pieces because then the glitter doesn't fall very far. But for dice, it's a bit of a pain because sometimes you'll have some of the hexagon pieces. Like if you look at the 2 on that d6,
Oh yeah,
it
like sunk all
it
the way to the top,
almost yeah
or almost like got all out. So you'd
yeah
have like a
it's because
divot in your dice.
you can actually see how I'm pointing at my screen. You can't see that, but you can see how like there's this line of glitter, and that's where you know the bottom of the die was when I poured it. And so like you can
Right.
see that it kind of is like almost sticking out, and same thing with the one of the d20s, the farthest one to the
Yeah, I
right.
see the right
There's
there
that
on
whole
the.
conglomeration of glitter because that's where it was. It still was a great dice set. I still love the colors. I still love the style. A lot of the times I was making my own custom colors for inking. I was making my own colors because I do know how to make my own colors. So yeah, that was one of the learning experience ones when it comes to glitter.
Okay. Well, they look amazing.
Yeah.
But and then these ones I assume you made because they don't look
These
quite
are
finished yet.
yes, these ones I didn't just make these, but I made these ones, and what I was trying to do was have a clear color on top of mica mixture, and the only way you can even see that is because of the light. When you look at it normally, you can't hardly tell. It kind of just looks red. So it's kind of a pain, but I think I finished polishing these. No, I didn't. Not, I took them out. Is what I did. And I like to take them out and take a picture of them because I'm so excited to see them come out. Like I get so excited whenever my dice come out because I want to see how they turned out.
Hmm.
And sometimes they can be like a little disappointing, but other than that, I kind of enjoy doing it.
Yeah, they look kind of nice.
Yeah,
I
in the
guess. In,
light they look amazing.
and then now these ones I really liked. I liked the color in this blue and green kind of,
That's the
or
that's the one I
the
couldn't let go of.
that one I really like. That's a
That
good color
black,
set.
that black and that green. I have it. I'll show it to you tomorrow where it's all painted. It's all polished, painted, and everything. It's got silver flakes in it, which is where you kind of see those bits of kind of like white slash silver in it. This set that when it came out, I could not let it go. And it was the way that I poured it because I poured that very pretty like green mica color. I poured that green first and then I poured the black and then I poured the green again. So that's where that kind of process came in. But the green only had the silver in it, so that's where the silver parts kind of stick out. And when it first came out, also I injured my finger that day at work. But I absolutely love that set. And when I finished it, I was like, I can't sell it. I
No,
have
that
to
set looks
keep it.
beautiful.
I love that set. It was the one set I could not let go of. And yeah, it's just one set I worked hard to get done, and then when I got it done, I was like, I can't sell these. I have to keep these. I just can't. And I was like, I promised myself I wouldn't keep all the dice I made. So I was like, no, 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 no. We're gonna I'm gonna not keep all the dice I make.
But I'm
So
keeping these.
I'm keeping these. I will give myself one leniency to keep this set because I could not let it go. Absolutely loved them. And 10 out of 10 would make again with different color schemes.
Let's see. And then are these just the polished versions of the other ones? Or are these
I
different?
maybe it was. It might have been. They
Because
looked similar.
they look like the previous like
They
reddish
might
brown ones,
have. They
but they
might
are now
have.
painted and
I
polished. So
yeah. I sent you a crap ton, so probably. I sent you a bunch.
they look
So
really nice.
probably.
If that is the fact that this is the finished version, they came out really nice. Then we
But
got these
yeah.
blue ones. Now these blue ones, they are very reminiscent to the set I currently have,
Oh,
and I am kind
gorgeous.
of jealous of this set. This looks really nice.
Gorgeous. Oh, such a good set. The white just made it perfect. I had a lot of fun with that one. I was experimenting a lot. Like that's why when I was doing these dice sets, I was experimenting so much with like using pipettes, with using pouring techniques, with using different styles, different art techniques for like all these different ways. And this one was a pipette one where I poured in that clear blue, and then I used a light blue with mica powder and put it in a pipette and just kind of like pushed it down and like slowly raised it up. So some of them kind of have like this cloud that just
Mm-hmm.
fills up onto the bottom. They came out so good. I love this set for that reason. And
Oh no,
I
this
10
is a
out of
very
10
nice
would do it
set.
again. I do hope to make another dice set like that because I'm like, man, I got to do this in green. I got to do this in purple. I got to do this in all sorts of different ones. I have so many ideas. I just need the time because these take time. And now I have, like I said, with everything, I do have a little pottery table so that I can actually polish faster. Painting will still take a long time. But painting these dice take forever. They take forever. Like sometimes it feels like I would rather wait for the resin to cure than paint these things because painting takes forever. And there's no real fast way to do it. And I get very precise with it, where it's like if the number doesn't fill all the way, well, then I gotta paint
They
back
look
in.
very clean and crisp. You
Yes,
so
it was a very nice set.
let's see. Then we got these like green and blue ones that look amazing.
Yeah. You can only see them in the light. It was supposed to be a purple. It was supposed to be a purple and green. So it was supposed to be like a dark purple and that color, that transparent green. Very gorgeous. I love those colors. And especially with you can see that the mica has like kind of the various different brighter
Mm-hmm.
diamondy type things that poke out. When they're not in the regular light, if they're in a bright like that like this, you can see everything. But if it's in regular light, you can't see anything. But again, it was still a fun set to make. I was experimenting a lot. These are all some of my first sets that I've made and completed that people loved, and I love that set, but it is hard to see in regular light.
Let's see. And then so I like this one's got like a red and white with gold fleck.
Yes, that one is also a nice one. It's got the gold flakes in it. It's a very nice red and white. Excuse me. I tried to do the same thing But with the white, I poured in the white and then I tried to like push in the red. The same thing I did with the blue, but instead I did it with red and white, and I added the gold flakes. But it seems like the gold flakes kind of
Settled,
shifted to the top. It seems
floated or
because
something.
everything, yeah, that seems like they all kind of floated to the top. You can see the three there,
Yeah.
but it was still it's a very pretty set. Like it came out very nicely, and it's another set I would make too.
See,
And I
and
can't
then
remember. I was just this is a lot of it. It's just been experimenting with
right.
colors. That
Uh,
one I love. That
so
set.
yeah, pink sparkle with like the
Purple
purple
ink.
lettering.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
very
good.
very nice. They stick out really well, but it kind of blends nicely.
Yes. It's a very bright pink. Just straight up pink. I wanted to do just a straight color for some of them because I was like, man, I'm doing so many that are so like different, and I'm trying like all these different colors and shapes and everything. I was like, I just need to do straight colors. And this is one that came out and I loved the pink. Absolutely loved the pink because I just sometimes I sit there and I go, I just want to do like a straight color. And I was like, I'm going to do pink. I don't know if anyone will like be interested in this, but I'm going to do straight pink. And it was a baby pink and it is so cute. They are very pretty. Love that set.
Then we've got the blue and gold set, or purple and
Purple.
gold. Purple and
That is
gold.
purple and gold. That one also turned out pretty good. I think I used a light purple for the ink on that one. I was again, I was experimenting, and I loved it with the purple and the gold. I think the next one I have is blue and gold, but this is a purple and gold. It came out really nice, and it came out like some of it was just like fantastic with the way the colors just blended so well together. But stuff like obviously purple and gold are gonna go well together. Just the way that
Right.
the
It's
colors
color
are in general.
contrasting.
Yeah, and they just came out really good. I want to make so many more of those. I actually have like themed dice sets already planned. Like I want to make like I have so many plans. Like I have dice sets where I want to make them based off of the currency. It's like I want to make platinum dice, gold dice,
Oh,
silver
okay.
dice, copper dice, and have it in like a
Now,
bag of holding style bag.
important question: will there be Electrum dice?
I don't know if I know
The
electrum
answer should be
dice.
no. The answer should always be no. No one cares about D&D 50-cent pieces.
Oh no, no. It would be our basic food group of dice, or our basic food
Right.
group of money, which is platinum, gold, silver, copper.
And
Those
then
are what
and
we're
then you
gonna
could do
have.
gem dice to go with them.
Yes, that's what I thought about too. And I thought about taking particular gems being particular dice,
Oh, okay.
like particular dice shapes. I thought about that one too. Like the diamonds would be like the D20s because they're considered the most valuable when they're used for spell components. And making like pearls be the D12s and stuff like that.
Sure. That could be fun. And then we've got a picture of what I assume are your dice molds or your dice, uh,
Yes.
your
The
masters.
two bottom ones are my most recent ones. The two bottom ones are, and the one that's on top is a previous set that came out a bit smaller than I liked, so I resized them and reprinted them. And when I liked the first set, then I made the second one, so I can make two dice molds with the two sets. But right now, I've been having trouble trying to get them cured, so I might just get like a UV flashlight and just click and just use it over them to get them fully cured. Because when they come out of the 3D resin printer, they're not actually fully cured,
Correct.
and I don't have a curing station.
See, we've got one of those in our garage for the 3D printer we're using. We've got one of those curing stations that's also the sonic wash station.
But
But
yeah, no, it was fun. I used particular programs. I chose the crystal style D4 because I liked how it looked compared to
probably
like
rolls
the
better too.
triangle. Yeah. There was also different D12s. Like there was a rhombus style D12 and a couple other ones. There was like a You could add a D2, you could add a D3, and I kind of just want to stick to the classic 7 polyhedral. There's also different shapes of all the other dice that I was just kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna do right now. I just kind of want to get the set that I want with the font that I like, which the font that's in there is a commercial-free font. And so far, the next thing I'll do is get my own, probably custom symbol that I can put on top of the D20
Okay.
to kind of make it my own brand. Other than that, I do have a custom set that I will be getting ready to start on through a friend that I promised that he would be the first one. So I have already a theme for him. He already told me the theme that he wants for it, and I already told him the design for it. So he wants an Egyptian themed one. So I'm gonna get for the 20. I don't know if I'll put it on any other dice, but it's gonna be the Ankh, obviously. And from there, he wants it like black and gold. So like I will end up doing a layer of black with gold glitter in it. Now the glitter I had found out through another custom set of D10s that I figured out a way to have it. Well, I didn't. I figured out it wasn't a way. It was the way the glitter works. The glitter actually stays where you put it, and I think because the glitter is small enough, it won't sink
Oh, it
down.
suspends in the resin.
Mm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have that black and I'm gonna have that glitter in it. So the glitter will be like suspended, and then I'll have like a mica gold mixture, which is what you saw with the purple and gold, that kind of
Right.
gold. It'll be a small layer of that, and then the black will be on top of it again. So like the way that that's going to work is I pour the first layer, I wait for it to cure long enough, and then I pour in that little tiny layer, wait for that to cure long enough, and then pour in the top layer and then let it all cure.
Okay.
It will take a while, but that is the way that I've been able to figure out this kind of thing. Um, Dice making has been quite an adventure. It has been quite a journey. I have loved every minute of it, and I wish I could dedicate more time and energy and effort into it.
Well, on a slight tangent of that, um, do you have a some kind of a storefront in case folk want to order dice from you, or is it mostly just word of mouth at this point?
It's been mostly word of mouth. I haven't been able to. I've been trying to make it where I get it all done, get everything set up first, and then be able to put it on there because I don't want to put myself out there and then not have the inventory to like back it up and all that kind of fun stuff. I want to be able to have the capability, which I do now, to add my own brand and name onto it because then when I do that, I'll be able to get the ball rolling. I just have to have time and energy. So that's been kind of my biggest problem is because the job that I work at currently is a lot of physical labor and it kind of just drains me. So like the days off that I have, I have trouble wanting to just get out of bed because I'm just so tired because I work a lot and I work hard at that. So
So at the moment you're just kind of like stockpiling dice inventory
I'm trying
for
to.
later, or
I
well,
am,
you know, like working toward that.
yeah.
Dice
Since
goblining in a different way, in a business way.
pretty much it's only been rough, but I have been doing things where it's like uh I have a budget planner to plan for how much I would charge, and which I don't charge very much because I have done some other stuff, gone through the local game shops to kind of help me get out there, and I have people going, "Hey, do they have more dice yet? Are they making more dice?" And I just haven't had more time, and I haven't had more energy for it. And that's been kind of like my bigger problem. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, how am I going to make it where I have energy and have time for it? Because sometimes I get so busy that I just don't know how I'm going to accomplish it. And then I get so tired where it's like, I want to accomplish it, but it requires effort and I'm tired and I don't feel like effort. I still have like back here, there's just little bowls and cups that are filled with unfinished dice and I haven't gotten around to it. Mostly because I just haven't. This is also my shelf of resin stuff and other molds that I haven't used yet. I have some Norse molds. One of them is a giant Norse compass that I can make. It's very big, and I also have the ones to make the runes, little runic
Okay.
tiles. I have that too. No really intention to like sell or anything. Just kind of make them for fun. Like if I have extra resin, I'll just like pour it into those so that way I'm not technically wasting the resin instead of making hockey pucks
Right.
of extra resin because sometimes I've been trying to like make sure I have the concise measurements, but also it's not a bad idea to have just a little bit of resin left over in case you have something mess up. And I'm still very new to it. I'm still very open to learning new things. There's a couple YouTubers I follow that they are all about dice making, and I have kind of followed their stuff. I've like put money in to get a pressure pot, an air compressor, put money in to get obviously the little pottery table to help me with polishing and painting. I have gotten everything to help with painting where it's like acrylic paints. I've gotten glitters, stuff I look at and I go, "Ooh, I want to put those in dice." And I've like done so much other stuff that has kind of invested into it, and it's just mostly getting it in there. I love making the dice. Like that is like my favorite part is mixing the resin, pouring it, looking at the colors, going, "Oh, I can't wait to see how this comes out." And then the other part has mostly been polishing and painting. Those are like the longest parts, but I just haven't gotten to getting started with the little pottery wheel and getting it done because that'll make my life 10 times easier. And then there's also mold making, which is another pain.
It sounds like you've definitely
I
industrialized your hobby of collecting
I have
dice.
I have struggled with mold making. I have struggled with that more than I'd like to admit. So where I'm at, my downstairs neighbor was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." They were like, "Well, I kind of heard you like yelling and screaming, and I just wanted to make sure you were okay because the mold I poured and I put in my pressure pot and it leaked out. So
Oh
I had
no.
silicone leak everywhere." And I was trying to save the mold, and I ended up obviously having one mental breakdown later, and got it all cleaned out as best as I could. Saved the mold, but it didn't come out quite right. I actually have one of my molds here. This is one of my molds. I think this was disaster number 3. Yeah. Um, but it has 2 sets worth in here,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little jagged line that I tried to separate it, and I found out why I shouldn't do that, so I don't really use this set. But you can also just you can buy a mold set online for like commercial free that you can do all that stuff with. This one has been an okay one. I have obviously used it before because you can see the resin kind of
Yeah.
still on the side. And I make the cap molds, which these are cap molds.
Oh, so
They
it's like a little dice box almost.
yeah. Yeah, they're little cap molds. I even have one for tiny dice. Um that I make for fun. I do not sell these since I have a 3D printer now. I can make my own tiny dice, and I figured once I master regular dice, I'm gonna make chunky boy dice, which are which are the big ones,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna make a big set of those so I can make those and do what I want with them, and then make small ones and make tiny ones to sell tiny ones. Which tiny ones are when I made them for fun. Um, they take very little resin, and yeah, they can be quite the pain. So trying to paint those things, oh,
Oh, I bet.
it's so tiny. Even then, when you're painting the dice, it's probably the one thing that takes the longest, besides the polishing and the shaping. Which even then, there's the whole thing. If you saw one of my dice before, there's like an extra layer of like resin where it looks like it's almost on top of the die, is because there wasn't enough pressure from the cap So it kind of added this extra layer of resin on top of it. Something that just I'm still new to it, so I'm trying to like figure out, because sometimes with cap molds you don't want to put too much pressure because then it squeezes out all the resin and therefore you have a giant bubble on the top. But then if you add too much resin and you don't squish it down enough, then you have an extra layer of resin. So
Hmm.
it's a learning progress. It's a learning curve, and it's been fun to experience. I enjoy doing it. I want to do more of it. I have absolute goals to turn this into a small business when I manage to just figure out a balance, because I've been so all over the place. My life has been a mess for the past couple of years, so I've been trying to just get everything balanced, and my work, since it's such heavy labor, is a lot harder to try and do my own separate things like that. I have barely enough energy to run my own game sometimes, but it's been fun. It's been a lot more fun. If I had all the tools to begin with, I probably would be a lot better off if I had everything to begin with, but I didn't because, money restrictions and bills. But I hope to eventually turn it into a small business, and that includes I want to make like little freebies, like this little thing. I will zoom in with it.
A little
Sorry, it's got a
dice
lot of
sword.
hair. It is a little sword, yeah. It is a little tiny sword. Dropped it, but it is a little tiny sword. I actually have one that I made.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Tiny sword.
I yes, it is a tiny little keychain.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is a tiny little keychain that I hope to make it where for each dice set that I make, I would give like a little fee and like have a little keychain attached to it because it's got the polyhedral
Oh,
shapes on
like
it.
yeah, down the front.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
Eh. For
I can find
those
it. Might
for those who cannot see it because the camera is small, maybe we'll get some pictures of it up on the Discord so you can swing
yeah,
by and take a look.
it is. It's cool and it's not inked. So, but I figured I would just use the same ink that I used for the dice that I made it with, and I made it for each dice set. So I was like, that would be a fun one. I also have a couple other things. I have a little mushroom, like holder. So I will eventually make little dice boxes that are just mushrooms, and like you just pop open the mushroom, and you have your dice in there. You can put
Well,
like
I
these.
look forward to your future
I
dice
have
industries.
I have so many plans and so many
Um,
ideas, and I'm like, I want to use all of these.
it's good that you will be available should someday you be like, Ben, look at these pretty dice, and I'll be like, I love these.
If I can
Um,
make that same set that I have, believe me, I absolutely would.
um,
Make them
but
10
speaking
out
of
of
other
10.
dice, we did, like I said before, solicit our Discord for some fancy dice, and we got one that was definitely worth the view. You will appreciate this mostly because of the fact that it's made of metal. And I know you like the metal dice. This chunky boy is a dice
Love it.
from one of our moderators, Killer Bichon. He said that this is the dice he uses specifically, or at least plans to use specifically, for rolling death saves.
Fantastic.
He has not gotten to use it in the wild yet. He picked it up like right as the pandemic started closing things down, and so he hasn't had a chance to get it out there in the wild and put it to use. But he's on top of having a really cool, big, hefty dice. He 3D printed a carrying skull for it to sit in.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
And so his death save D20 is has its own skull that it kind of sits in, and he sent a picture of it. It weighs the dice itself weighs a quarter of a pound, about a little over 3.5 ounces. It is definitely a murder tool.
It
Um,
definitely could. Oh my
it
gosh.
is it is chunky. It would definitely do some damage if it rolled off a table and like landed on a foot.
I would. That sounds like it hurts.
Um, so it's dangerous, but it's his new baby, and he plans on, like I said, it's his for when it matters and he needs a death save. He's gonna pull out his skull, pop out the d20 and give it a roll and see how it turns out for him.
Oh yeah. I have a feeling that die would never work for me. That die would never work. It would never work. It would always fail for me. I have a feeling.
But yeah, that's all the dice pictures we currently had. So uh, this was our tour through our shameful yet lovable dice habit. Thank you all for coming with us on this very colorful journey.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, definitely. If any of you are watching this later on YouTube or watching it now and want to come over and hang out in our Discord, all of our links are in the main channel. You can either go see all of our other stuff on YouTube or just come hang out with us in the Discord. Talk dice. We clearly have someone who makes wonderful dice. So if you want to come to the Discord and gush about beautiful looking dice with her, that is a thing that is available to you.
Yes.
We do like pretty dice. So other than that, those of you watching now or later as well, if by chance you happen to want to follow or like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, if you have a Twitch Prime subscription, good news. You can share that sub with other people, and it costs you no money. In fact, it takes money from Amazon and gives it to people who need it for things. And if you want to give it to us, that'd be awesome. We can use it to make better content and have some more opportunities to show you some of our cooler stuff. But if not, that's fine too. But definitely stop by. We'll be doing another one of these. We've decided definitely a monthly kind of system on the Tavern Talks.
Yeah.
So look forward to about this time next month when we have our next Tavern Talk. It will be pretty exciting. It'll be for me post convention. I will be going to our local science fiction fantasy convention and doing a lot of stuff running in the gaming area, and hopefully I'll have some, maybe we'll do like a con stories or something along those lines, or see where we go from there.
Is that the
um,
same one that you
which one?
um
Archon.
that was like one of my goals was to
Oh yes,
start
yes,
it so
you
I
were going
could
to see if you
send
could have
you.
dice for Archon. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
um,
was trying to do.
well, good news. You still have about a month.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I've been that was a goal that I had this
right,
year too. So.
but if not, that's fine too. But yeah, I will definitely be going there and having a pretty great weekend, and maybe we'll tell some stories. Maybe we'll do some other stuff. So other than that, thank you all again for sticking with us and or watching this later on YouTube. But otherwise, we are gonna head on out. So talk to y'all later.
Bye.